What's going on, guys? Chuck here, another awesome Blu-ray purchase. Today, we're taking a look at a new release from Second Sight Films, and that is the limited edition of 2002's May. Now, this is a movie I had not seen. I'd heard of it, well, mostly because I do recognize the original poster art, which this isn't it, but, the image was very, I don't know, it's something I've seen quite frequently. I can't remember. I don't think it was in a video store. It might have been. I don't know. I've seen it online. A lot of people talking about this movie here and there. So I know I've heard of it. But the details of it, what it was about, I had no clue. And just recently, as I'm going to credit again, it was Christian Hanahara on his channel. He did a review of this set and of May. And it really intrigued me. It's like, okay, I think I want to check this out. It sounds, again, I knew of it. I think I might have heard something, bits and pieces about it, but not, in the details. But like I said, after watching Kristen's video, I was really intrigued and made me want to go out and get it. And especially seeing, this set from Second Sight Films that I, enjoy what Second Sight Films has done. So I figured this is a good way to check it out, and I did. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I didn't know what really to expect going in, and it's really hard to categorize May. Is it horror? Yes, it's definitely horror, but it's also kind of a black comedy in some ways, and yeah, I think it's a black, black horror comedy, I guess, or black comedy horror, however you want to put that together. But May, for those of you who don't know, is a story of May. There's a girl who grew up, she had a lazy eye. She has some trouble dealing with that, and, it kind of made her socially awkward. And so as an adult, she's just a woman who is in desperate need of companionship, friendship, someone who will genuinely take a real interest in her and be a friend. And, because of this, like I said, she's a little socially awkward and a little strange, but endearing. And of course, she meets a stranger she immediately is attracted to his hands. That's the thing about May, is like she is attracted to the parts of a person as opposed to the person in themselves, which is an interesting concept of the film. It kind of brings up how sometimes some people, the parts are more interesting than the whole, if you will, in some cases. And I think it's an interesting dynamic that the film takes without going too far into it. But again, it's you basically follow May, and it is actually kind of heartbreaking and sad. And funny in some ways. Journey she's on, I say again, she's a social awkward. She's just trying to find someone to see her for who she is and what she is. And it's a very interesting journey to get to that point, with a great end that just kind of, whoa, that's, awesome. May came out in 2002, and I think it, was like an independent film. And I don't know if I don't think it really did. It did well. Find it, or at least in mainstream. I don't think it got wide release. It was kind of like dropped on the radar. I think just over the last few years, it's kind of found a bit of a following, obviously, and for good reason. Like I said, this is a really hidden gem, if you will. If you've never heard of it, ever seen, I definitely recommend checking this out. I was pleasantly surprised and enjoyed this film very much. And the majority of the reason is, make sure I have her name right because I don't really know that, Angela Bettis as May. She carries this film, and her performance is fantastic. And you got Jeremy Sisto as the male lead, the stranger with the beautiful hands. And there's a lot of other quirky characters throughout here, but it's Angela Bettis that carries the film as May. Also in here, which I really thought was a kind of a pleasant surprise. Oh, I'm not surprised when she's in it, but for what she did, and that's Anna Faris in this very early role, and kind of playing. People don't know Anna Faris; they know her for her comedy. Um, obviously from the Scary Movie franchise, where I think she really became prominent, and even recently on the TV series Mom. She's got great comic timing. It's what she's known for. She's playing something totally different here, and a character I really like. She's playing, just a little sultry seductress, but sweet. I don't know. Maybe not sweet, but she's definitely just kind of out of type for what you expect from Anna Faris, and it's good. She pulls it off really well. She's definitely a joy to watch her if she's on screen, and her performance is like wow. And then she's a great foil, if you will, for May. I don't know if that's really quite the term I want to use, but when she's on screen, it's fun. She's actually she does have some comedic chops in this film. She gets to pull off some of those brief moments, not over the top order, but she has little moments. But again, it's Angela Bassett carrying this film all the way through. So again, I highly recommend if you've never seen this, definitely check it out. It may seem a little bit at first. It's not really a slow burn. It moves at a pretty pace. But it really builds up to a great ending. It's you'll really enjoy performance from Angela Bassett, and you'll get invested in the main character. But you're not sure how you'll feel about it. At one end you're rooting for her, the other end like, should I be? When you get to the point, I don't know. Like I said, but it's a very sad and sometimes heartbreaking, and sometimes WTF, but enjoyable nonetheless. So let's take a look at this great set from Second Sight Films. It's a limited edition. First, here's the hardcover box, the front end. Although I'm surprised they don't have the original poster because that was so iconic. This is the original art piece done. But yeah, the original poster, that I've seen, again, it's one I recognize immediately, kind of the gothic look with all the implements all around her. So it's kind of interesting they went with this. So here's the spine, and in the back, back up a little bit, with that great line: "If you can't find a friend, make one." And here's your goodies inside. Here, real quick, here's the L card pull off here with all your specs, and there's a lot of good features on here. You've got a nice 20-minute interview with the director based on his where he started out, how May came into be, or was like a short school was a school film, and his first real screenplay he wanted to make, kind of how it's actually personal to him in a lot of ways, and just the story of getting it made, and his thoughts on it, how it survived this long. It's very interesting. You also have a short interview with Jeremy Sisto, and an interview with Jamie Duvall. It's like the only two other interviews on here as far as actors go. But you've got like 2 or 3 audio commentaries on here. A couple other interviews with, let's see. Oh my gosh, there's so many. So interview with cinematographer. Peeling Back the Layers interview with the editor Ryan Johnson. So if Ryan Johnson was on this film, of course, people love him for his Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I'm poking fun there. I actually like the movie. Jack and Jill interview with editor Chris Silverton. In the Cut interview with editor Kevin Ford. Blood, Gore, and Rock and Roll interview with composer James Luckett, if I'm pronouncing that right. Bits and Pieces on the set of May, from Frankenstein to May. Dr. Miranda Corcoran on May. So there's a lot of in-depth interviews. I didn't get through all this stuff. Like I said, I haven't listened to commentaries. I did see the 3 interviews with the director and the 2 actors. But again, pull it up here of everything that's on here. A lot of good stuff. So let's dive into the goodies. So first off, here's your Blu-ray case. I do like the little gray case. It's kind of a nice touch. And of course, the back with your specs. And again, just so you know, this is second sight film, so, and this is a Blu-ray, so this is region B locked. So you'll have to have a region-free player to see this. It's not 4K, just regular Blu-ray. Inside, that's all there is to it. There's no reverse artwork, which again, kind of a shame they didn't put like the original poster art on the inside, but that's okay. Also, you've got some nice cards here on very thick cardstock too. So take a look at these real quick. Here's your first one here. Gory. And there's the image you're kind of expecting to see, like almost like the poster. That's kind of what the image is. If you've never seen that, you know, and there's spoiler alert. There you go. And also included is this nice, good hardbound book. Again, with the, if you can't find a friend, make one. With a lot of in-depth, you know, pictures and essays all throughout here. I haven't had a chance to go into this, but from what I saw again on Christian's video, he was telling me how there's a lot of good stuff in here. So I'm trying to find time to sit down and read through this, because especially after watching the movie, there's a lot of. I really want to get more on the inside of the making of it, because I was really fascinated with it. I really enjoyed it a lot. So I'm gonna try my best to find some time to sit down and, you know, really dive into this. And actually, you know, there's a lot of these books that come through, you know, with these sets. They are very hard to get to, especially, you know, find time to sit down and read. I really do want to. So I'm hoping I can do that very soon and find a good, quiet reading spot where I don't have to, you know, worry about kids bothering me every 5 minutes. But that's okay. So that is it. The second sight release of the limited edition of May. Again, I highly recommend it. If you've never seen it, check it out. This is the first time watch for me. I really enjoyed it. You know, there's a good amount of blood and gore if you're in that thing, but there's also an interesting story, great performances, a nice twist. Again, it's highly recommended. Definitely check it out. And if you can get this set while still available, do so. If you know, again, remember it's region B locked, so you will need a region-free player to check this out here in the States. So that is it for this. If you enjoy this, click thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you had seen May prior to this, if you heard of it. If you have seen it, let me know your thoughts, because I'd be interested in hear any other takes on May. Again, I really was. I'm surprised at how drawn in I was to the story. And just again, I went in kind of blind. So I knew a little bit from what I'd seen in Christian's video, but I really had no idea what I was in for. And you know, the performance of Angela Bassett, like I said, she was just phenomenal, and I really enjoyed her performance as May. So that was really the thing that just drove me through the whole film. And it's a quick watch. It's really good. You know, to me, it didn't drag. You kept me intrigued the whole time. And again, I can't recommend it enough. And I've said enough. So that is it for now. So until next time, this is Chuck saying I will see you on the other side.